Y'all gotta be kidding me, bro. This is the second time this happened. Y'all tell me I was muted. Alright, so let me run all of that back. My bad, guys. I'm a little bit twisted right now. I actually came in from work like 40 minutes ago. That's not nearly enough time for me to get in my right mindset. But thank you all for letting me know about that. You should be able to hear me now because I unmuted my mic. I was saying, welcome into another episode of the Just Chillin podcast. I got two guests behind here that I really want to get on soon, but I'll give my 2 cents first. We all know the situation that's going on. Ken Dorsey stayed in Buffalo. The Giants hired the Buffalo offensive line coach. I think his name was Bobby Johnson. And of course, the biggest news of the night, the biggest topic is going to be that Brian Flores is suing the NFL along. I'm not sure if it's the entire NFL, along with 3 teams. I think it's Miami, Giants, and Broncos for racial discrimination during the hiring process. And with Miami, I'm assuming during the firing process of what he was doing. So before I get the more shout out to everybody in here, as you're coming in, like the stream, share it out, subscribe if you're new, and my quick thoughts on the whole situation right now with Brian Flores. So I was just over on Pest Stream, PTA Sports. I know he's still live a little bit, where I gave it. But for those of you that didn't know I was there, what I said was that I in general, to start off the whole thing, I think the Rooney rule has always been flawed from the beginning that it was assigned, right? Because as much as the NFL will try to force teams to hire a black or minority coach, it's not going to happen because we all know where the real power lies in the NFL. It's not with Roger Goodell and the board of directors or whoever's in charge of running that thing. It's with the team owners themselves. So for that reason alone, the Rooney rule was always set up to fail in a way. I mean, especially if, like, let me give you an example where a team is hiring a white coach or just non-minority. I guess that would be white, right? They're hiring a white coach, but they need to fulfill the Rooney rule. So they bring in a minority coach candidate just to interview them. That's insulting to everybody involved. That's insulting to that coach candidate because he knows that he's not going to be taken seriously. And so because he knows he's not going to be taken seriously, why should he give it his all in that interview if he knows he's just there to fulfill a quota? If he knows he's just at the end of the day going to be seen as that number that, all right, let me tick off this box. I interviewed that one guy that fulfills this Rooney rule. I'm not going to get my picks taken away. Bam, it's done and done. The Rooney rule was always a stupid way to go about it. And the fact that it extended into offensive and defensive coordinators last year is just never made sense to me. If you want to see true change in the NFL, to me, it starts at the top, and it starts with getting more black and minority owners in the NFL. I'm not nearly smart enough, nor do I have the resources to tell you how that's possible. But if you want to see change, it starts there. It starts with getting somehow, some way, more diverse owners in the NFL. I mean, I know the Broncos are selling their team, and it also goes out to the people that are at the top. The minority millionaires and billionaires out there, which there are, they need to get involved as well. I want to give a shout out to Glass Half Full, who brought this point once again from past stream. He was like, do we know if they're trying to get in, or do we know if the NFL is locking them out? Which is a genuine question, which, if I'm be honest with you, we're probably never going to get the answer to. But somehow, some way, they got to make their way into it. And once that happens, you're going to see it start to go down and have effect throughout the entire organization, whatever organization that may be. Now, specifically on the Giants, because Brian Flores, he, part of this lawsuit is towards the Giants. I can't speak for the Broncos. I can't speak for Miami. I can speak for the Giants, though, based off of what we saw with the hiring process. And I'll say this. It doesn't make sense to me that he's including them in this lawsuit, because if you want to argue that we were just kind of using Brian Daboll to fulfill the Rooney rule, it makes no sense since he was like the last coach we interviewed. We interviewed Leslie Frazier twice before we interviewed Brian Daboll twice, and we interviewed Patrick Graham twice before we interviewed Brian Daboll twice. I'm sorry, Brian Flores. I misspoke there, that last part. So we already fulfilled the Rooney rule 2 times over before we completed the interviews with Brian Flores, and that is the base of this case. Of course, there was that text from Bill Belichick that went out, and that is really sad and bad on the Giants' part to look at, that they definitely had their decision made before his second interview was completed. But once again, you want to go back to Leslie Frazier and Patrick Graham, you can make the argument would be made that if we just interviewed one of those guys instead of all 3, that we would have gotten them in. So with that being said, let me get the 2 guests on here. Oh, Fitz just popped out. All right, I'll see what's up with him. I'll text him on Instagram and whatnot. But Let's get Nate on here. Nate, what's up, man?
How's it going, Kush? I just saw a few minutes ago on Pest Stream, but we are here now
Yeah.
on the Hub YouTube channel to talk about this. So what's up, guys? As he said, like up the stream, subscribe if you haven't, and it's going to be a good stream. We have a lot to talk about. Kush just started us off. We got the Flores stuff to talk about. We got, obviously, our own coaching hires to talk about. We got a lot going on today. Very eventful news in the NFL recently. I think there's a lot to say, and I'll start with the Giants and then expand outward. So for the Giants, first of all, and I said this before, I'll say it again, I think in the next few days, possibly even the next few weeks, a lot more is going to come out about this situation, specifically with Brian Flores, just because at the moment, nothing has been said that hasn't been contested. Everything that Brian Flores said, I'm not saying that he's lying or anything, but everything he has said so far has been contested and has not been proven yet. So we need to wait and see what comes out. But some things I am a lot more inclined to believe than others. From the Giants' point of view, personally, I don't think there's really an argument here that he wasn't ever a legitimate candidate. I think you can see a lot of people that maybe are just thrown in there for names for the Rooney Rule. That happens a lot. Personally, I think that there's so much to the contrary here with Flores and the Giants specifically. I mean, when Joe Judge was fired on that day, Mara got in touch with him through McDonnell and said that he wanted to have him as part of these candidates. And all of the sources close to the matter, which have been pretty spot on through the entire process, all of them said that up until the 11th hour, John Mara was pushing for Brian Flores to be the next head coach. So that, to me, says that in this specific instance, I don't think the Giants were just bringing him in as a token minority. I don't think that was what was going on here. It's possible I'm wrong. Who knows? But A, Bill Belichick, those text messages are a secondhand source. And B, he never even said that they had already given it to Daboll. He said it looks like it's going to be Daboll. So I don't think that there's really a solid argument here that Flores was a fake candidate or that it was a sham interview or anything along those lines. Personally, I think he was a legitimate candidate that lost out to the guy that the general manager wanted. John Mara said from the beginning he was going to commit to letting the GM make decisions, and this was Joe Schoen's call. In terms of the other stuff, I think there's a much more valid case there.
Yeah.
I think with the Broncos specifically.
With the Broncos and with the NFL in general, there's a big case there, but I could only speak for the Giants.
With the Broncos, I tend to believe Flores. Maybe not to the full extent he's saying, because it's possible there's sort of a not-so-happy medium here, but I definitely believe that interview is not in good faith. That is a very John Elway thing to do. He is a known alcoholic, and he's also very well known amongst the Broncos fan base, amongst Broncos reporters and staff, that he makes his decision early and he doesn't tend to deviate from it. So that I definitely believe. And with the Dolphins, I don't tend to have a lot of reason to believe Stephen Ross wasn't doing that stuff. I don't tend to see any particular reason to doubt that. Obviously, like I said, there's a lot more to come. There's probably weeks of information more to come. Even more coaches are potentially going to hop on this bandwagon with Flores and give their takes on this. And I think in that way, the Rooney Rule is a legitimate problem the NFL is going to need to address.
So
it's not like this isn't real.
Before you go on, let's hear what Fist got to say on it before we get too off of the main topic. But go ahead, Fist.
Of Flores specifically?
Sure.
Yeah. Like I said, I'm ready to eat dinner. Trying to show you and Pest some love, but my stomach more important, man.
I feel that. It's fine. It's
fair
fine.
enough.
So look, Giants hopefully we ain't do nothing wrong. Hopefully. I'm under the assumption that we interview Graham and Frazier before we interview Flores. Now, I'm also a realist. We all know the fix was in for Daboll. So any coach, black or white, you knew you weren't getting the job anyway.
Exactly.
So, it is what it is. Now, as far as everybody shitting on the Rooney Rule, y'all need to relax. Black people got to get their foot in the door one way or the other. Even if it's a sham, I've ever get an interview and try and knock their boots off like Joe Judge did. You know what I'm saying? Just give you an example of a random coach just having a great interview and stealing a job. I've ever tried my luck and Joe Judge my way into a situation, did not get my foot in the door at all. Because without the Rooney Rule, we wouldn't get an interview. You think Patrick Graham gets an interview without the Rooney Rule? You think Cully gets interviewed without the Rooney Rule? 90% of these black coaches ain't getting interviews without that Rooney Rule. So that Rooney Rule needs to stay. Period. It's not stupid. It's not none of that. It's a necessary evil for black men to get an opportunity to get in front of these rich billionaires and plead their case. It's a necessary evil. So I'm
Can
all
I?
for the Rooney
Sorry, yeah.
Rule. And as far as Brian Daboll, as far as Brian Flores goes, I've been taking shit on Twitter about this for a week. You know, a lot of Giants fans thought that I was campaigning for him to get the Giants job. No, my whole point was y'all slandering the man off because y'all don't want him here. It's like he's been the angry black coach on Twitter for a week now.
More than a week. More than a week.
Yeah,
I'd say a
like
month.
Most of these Giants fans and Giants people on Twitter have been shitting on Flores. They don't even know the guy. Oh, he don't like Tua. Oh, he was angry in Miami. Oh, they let him go for a reason. He was a winning coach. I'm like, bro, y'all burying this man because y'all want Brian Daboll, but y'all don't understand the effects that's going to have for him going for a job other places. Because Giants Twitter slandered and smear campaigned the fuck out of Brian Flores to the point where other teams didn't want to rock with him because it's like the Giants Twitter buried him. And that can't even be disputed. Every other day, somebody in Giants Twitter was talking about Brian Flores said this or Brian Flores did that. Brian Flores didn't talk to his staff for 2 months and all this other shit. I'm like, how you don't talk to your staff for 2 months? Like, what are y'all talking about? Brian Flores didn't talk to no. Like, it's just one thing after another. And then it's like, Giants fans wanted Brian Daboll. That was their guy. There was no talking Giants fans out of that. And that's fine with me. But I was starting to get uncomfortable as a black man on Twitter and even in my comment section to a certain point because it was getting to the point where it was like you had the white segregation of Giants fans. It was Brian Daboll, and that's that. Fuck Brian Flores. And then as a black man, we started to feel a certain kind of way. It was like, no, fuck y'all. Let's get Brian Flores in here. So really, it really was becoming kind of a race thing in a weird way. And that's why I was happy that Brian Flores didn't get the job, because I know a lot of white folks wouldn't accept him. Every little thing he did would have been scrutinized. It wouldn't have been no warm welcome that fucking Brian Daboll got. It wouldn't have been none of that. Flores would have been the most hated man in New York that he got that job. And then they would have blamed John Mara because look at John Mara hiring. We know Joe Shane didn't want him. Joe Shane wanted Daboll. How dare John Mara hire Brian Flores? The shit would have been ugly. So, you know, I think it's an unfortunate situation, but I hope my man Brian Flores burns the Dolphins to the ground. The Giants and Broncos are casualties.
I don't know about the Broncos, man. The Broncos one seems kind of legit. But like I said, the Dolphin one I definitely believe. But what do you think about the Broncos one?
Man, who cares, bro? That was 3 years ago. It is what it is. I mean, I really don't I want him to get the Dolphins because it's the Dolphins' fault.
Yeah.
They fired that man for
absolutely. Stephen Ross needs to be out of the NFL.
So, you know what I'm saying? The Giants, it's a casualty award. The Broncos are a casualty award. It's primarily, go get Stephen Ross and get your side of the story. I'm rooting for Brian Flores.
Mm-hmm. And like I said, especially to the second half of what Fisk was saying with the smear campaign, I've been pretty consistent with saying that it's kind of exaggerated, the stuff that's coming out of the Miami camp. And I don't know if I said it here or if it was on Pest Stream just now where I was like, everybody should have been tipped off when that thing about where he told Tua I should have drafted Mac Jones was proven false. Like that was completely fake. Somebody put that out there and the Twitter took it and ran with it. I don't know if the media took it and ran with it, but fans for sure took it and ran with it. And ever since then, you should have been tipped off that something's not right here with the way that this thing is going. Go ahead.
And I just want to give my disagreement about the Rooney Rule specifically. So I 100% agree that there needs to be a mechanism for those minority coaches to get in the door. I just don't think the Rooney Rule is the right way to go about it. Because if you look at the results of that, they're getting in the door, but they're getting in the door as a formality. And they're getting in the door and it's not working out. The only case that's really worked out long-term has been Mike Tomlin. They just don't have the commitment because that's been a guy that even if they do get in there and they get their foot in the door, they're not really there with full commitment from ownership. For me, I look at the Rooney Rule and I see yet another NFL attempt at solving a problem with brute force that just isn't going to work. I don't think you can look at ownership and try and police their hiring at any level with any sort of success. NFL owners are some of the cockiest, most egotistical people in the world who think that nothing could possibly happen to them. You can't threaten them with anything to make them think they can't get out of it. I think if you're going to look at this, it needs to be a total shift in the mindset. I don't think trying to get a foot in the door artificially is going to change that.
As a black man, I completely disagree. That's just our reality. As a black man, you can be the manager of Walmart. We know we only get in that manager spot because somebody told them to hire us and give us that spot. We've been dealing with that for 100 years. Black men in America, black men and women in America, we're used to getting positions because we're filling a quota. We're used to getting positions out of pity. We're used to getting positions for political reasons. And we know we got to work harder than the average man to keep that job. As a black man, we're perfectly fine with that, but we want an opportunity. And by any means necessary, we're going to take that opportunity. That is what it is. When you're a black guy, like one of my favorite episodes of All in the Family. I know y'all too young for this, but All in the Family, Archie Bunker.
Oh, that's what Archie Bunker is from?
Yeah,
I know who that is.
You don't know All in the Family? All in the Family. You know the spinoff of that was
I know the guy he's talking about.
So Archie Bunker, there was this episode like season 3 or 4 or whatever. He thought he was gonna get the spot on the bowling team because he was white and it was a good old boy club, right? But they had to give it to the black guy because it was an all-white team. The point I'm trying to make is black people for years in this country have been getting spots out of pity or spots because it makes the white man look good, or the white man can't have an all-white team and look bad, so they need to find one black guy. We're used to shit like that.
Mm-hmm.
So we're prepared to work harder than the white man to get ahead in the world. But in order for us to work harder than the white man to get ahead, we need the opportunity in the first place. And that's what that Rooney Rule offers us. It offers us an opportunity to get in front of these white owners that will never give us the time of day and allow us to plead our case.
Mm-hmm.
So it needs to be there. It has to be there. It's a great rule.
So my disagreement with that is this, and I'm not going to say you're not absolutely right, because that is unfortunately the case in America. But when you're looking at trying to fix the problem, which, unless you disagree, the way I see the problem is the underrepresentation of minority coaches in the NFL, right? That is the problem we're trying to fix, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so do you not think the best way to fix that problem is to get them a better shot from the get-go instead of just trying to force them in?
No, because you're that's like people saying, yo, we waiting for, it's like a black man, right? That's like, as a black man, it's like, man, one of these days these cops gonna stop beating our ass. One of these days,
but this is different than that.
Stop. No. But the point I'm trying to make is, as a black guy in America, that's how we look at it. We're tired of waiting for the white man to accept us and change his mind. We're tired of the white man waiting for the white man to have a come to Jesus moment and say, let me get this black guy a fair opportunity. We got to take that by force. And if that means putting a black dude in an office in front of a whole bunch of white people, no matter how uncomfortable it may be, if that's what us black dudes got to do to get our foot in the door and work our way up the ladder, so be it.
Okay, so what have the results been of that?
The results of that they haven't been great.
They've been terrible.
Better than nothing.
Is it though? The one current black head coach in the league is of the team that tried to institute the Rooney Rule in the beginning.
Yeah, but the thing is, it worked. It was working with Brian Flores. We can't help it that Stephen Ross is an asshole. Brian Flores did a damn good job with that Miami Dolphin team.
But that's the entire point. If this isn't their guy from the beginning, if this is, like you're saying, a guy that you're pushing in the door instead of just from the beginning there not being a difference anyway, that's not going to be full commitment from ownership. From the beginning, he didn't have full commitment from ownership. If you're looking at this, at the end of the day, the results of the Rooney Rule are evident.
He had full commitment from ownership. What doomed Brian Flores is he didn't want to tank.
From the very beginning.
He didn't want to recruit Deshaun Watson. Once ownership wanted to start doing shady shit and Brian Flores wasn't on board with it, that's what doomed Brian Flores. It's the shady shit that was going on in Miami. But the thing is, I'm not disagreeing with your point, Nate, because what you're trying to say is right, but it's not reality. The reality of the situation is black men got to take an opportunity no matter how it's given.
So let me say why I don't think.
Hold up. Let me say
I just have my
that.
response for that.
Yeah, go ahead.
So my response to that is that in the greater world as a whole, or as America as a whole, 100% agree. 10 out of 10, absolutely. But in the NFL, I think the best example of why that's not true is black quarterbacks. And we're not at a point where it's equal representation yet.
You had on Pest Channel, by the way. I'm
So
glad you brought this one up.
Let me, you can say why in a minute, but here's my thing. If you're looking at NFL ownership, even if they are racist and biased and prejudiced and whatever, money is paramount, winning is paramount. Those two go hand in hand, and that is the best thing in the world for an NFL owner. If they understand that it's going to be through a black head coach, the black head coach will get hired.
No, he won't. Why did Brian Flores get fired? Why did Cully get fired?
Why did Cully get fired? Because he was a one-year coach that was never going to be the coach anyway.
Yeah, but he did good things. He got 4 wins out of Davis Mills.
That was a decision they made before he was even put in the head coach position.
So the point I'm trying to make is that's why your theory on the black quarterback and trying to get black coaches, it'll never work, because that means the same reason why they're not getting jobs in the NFL is the same reason why they're not going to get jobs on the college level. As long as the white man has the majority of the power, the black man is going to be the dependent source that needs the white man to give him a chance.
And the
if
difference
the white man's
is
not going to give him a chance, the black man's never going to get his foot in the door. The black quarterback is different because that directly results in winning. All right,
coaching doesn't directly result in winning.
Yeah, but the difference is Deshaun Watsons and Patrick Mahomes ain't growing on trees. White coaches grow on trees.
That's where my point is.
Coach, you can go get you a white coach and say, go coach that black kid.
That's where my point is. You can't just
go get some random white boy and tell him to run like Lamar. That's not going to happen.
My point is, the problem with the NFL's underrepresentation in coaching is that there's just on basic volume in the entire league, not just at head coaching, but on the lower levels in coordinators and position coaches, there's underrepresentation there. And that's coming from college. The problem is at the very root, not at the very top.
Yeah, but Nate, you're trying to get them to change their plantation mentality. It's not gonna happen. See, it's the black man playing quarterback is a field nigga. He on the field. He working for massa. Once you in that room, Nate, with these white billionaires, they want to see somebody who look like them. When you're considered management, when you're considered the guy who needs to go control the black men on the field. Hence, who's the owner? Bobby McNair, the owner of the Texans who died, who said we can't let the inmates run the asylum. We got to have a white man in control or something like that. The owner, the deceased owner of the Houston Texans.
And real quick, that was the point I was going to bring up as well, Nate, with the you just kind of have to like wait for it to happen naturally or something like that. Along the comparison you made basically with the black quarterbacks, because with black quarterbacks, it's more of an immediate thing, kind of what Fisk was saying. You're immediately seeing them having more and more success at the college level, and they directly, it's not to say that coaching doesn't directly affect the game, but they're on the field doing the playing, right? They're on the field there, and then what Fisk brings up with that mentality, I'm going to let you continue, Fisk, but I don't want the super chat to go disappear real quick. Just shout out to Nick the Wick, I think it was, for the $5 super chat. He says, racism exists in the world. I fully believe that. However, in my opinion, this wasn't based on race. Shane knew once he got the job, Daboll was his guy. And that's not even what we're arguing right now. I agree with that. We're arguing right now just in general the NFL, or debating, I guess you could say. Go ahead, Fizz.
Mm-hmm.
So all I'm saying is, like, the plantation mentality, like these owners, it's okay for the black man to work for them. It's another thing for the black man to work with them. It's two completely different things. You see, when you in those rooms, that the owner, he wants somebody who looks like him and talks like him to have those lunches with him, to explain what's going on the field to him. He don't want somebody who look like us, because the black man, he raised his voice, he's being angry. A black man look a certain way, he looks mad. Like it's just a different type of energy. So all I'm trying to say is, what you're saying, Nate, sounds cute, but you want the mentality of a race of people to change, and that's not just gonna happen. We might be 50 to 100 years away from black coaches.
Because another thing you gotta look at, Nate, right?
Mm-hmm.
How old are these white owners, bro?
Very old.
They're very, yeah. That's not changing anytime soon. they've had that mentality since they were younger, and it's been continuing for most of their life. They're what, in their
Ding, ding,
70s
ding.
and
Guess what
whatnot.
the children are gonna do?
Mhm.
Carry the same mentality. It's systematic.
So let me say this: my end point here is that we all know racism is stupid. Those prejudices are stupid. The NFL is getting smarter. Day by day, year by year, the NFL is getting smarter. And if you think that the end goal isn't winning and they are not getting smarter about how to win, that's a different conversation. It's a very good point you're making. I'm not saying that doesn't exist, but I think at the end of the day, the one true motivating factor that pushes the league in every direction it has ever gone, and why any change that has ever happened in the NFL in any dynamic of football has gone, has been about what the best way to win is.
Nah, because that was the case. Colin Kaepernick wouldn't have got blackballed. I mean, Colin Kaepernick was fresh off of 3 NFC Championship games
And a
beating
really,
Aaron
really
Rodgers
bad
twice in
2
the playoffs.
seasons.
Huh?
And a
He
really,
had one
really bad
season
season.
under Tom Tinsula. He had one. Remember, he was a 500 player under Harbaugh, and then Harbaugh left, and he had that one season of Tim Tomsula. He was bad. His last season under Chip Kelly, he had better numbers than what Jimmy G ever had. His numbers were
Jimmy
what
G
he,
is
what he
terrible.
had like 20-something touchdowns his last season under Jim Tomsula. Chip Kelly. He was good under Chip Kelly. Kaepernick was good under Chip Kelly. Team didn't win, but he played good. But the point I'm trying to make is the NFL has already admitted to their blackballing ways. They admitted it with the Kaepernick situation. So all I'm trying to say is like, you can't. It's a plantation mentality. They feel the black man is good enough to play for them. He's not good enough to work with them. 2 different things.
And to
And
add
it's
on to
hard
that,
to change that mentality.
that's what I was saying way earlier. In my opinion, no, it's truly gonna change unless you get black and minority owners in there, which God knows how long that's gonna
That's
take.
never gonna happen. Ever. They're not gonna let a black man own an NFL team. That would never happen.
They said that at one point by the NBA. I think it's gonna take a long time, but it's gonna
Now,
happen.
but the NBA, they have no choice in the NBA because the NBA is more cultured than the NFL. The NBA is all about hip hop. It's all about black culture. The NBA is really it's all about black culture. Everything about the NBA is black culture. The NFL
It became
still
that
has
though, right? It became that. What I'm saying is, it's gonna take time for the NFL to get like that, but I don't know
It's
how
gonna
long
take a
that
long
is.
time, but the
Yeah, that's what I'm
difference
saying. It's
is
gonna take a long time.
it's gonna take a long time because let me ask y'all a question: how many of the I don't know, man, because they didn't take too well to Cam Newton being the best player on the planet. So I mean, I don't know. That little stretch for a couple years where Cam Newton was the man, the NFL didn't like that. So
This is what I'll say right now.
The fans sure as hell liked it.
There's an opening right now because Denver is being sold. If the NFL actually wants to make a change, they'll get rid of Stephen Ross and force him to sell the Dolphins somehow.
That might happen.
Like, here's the thing. That goes from 1 to 2 teams on the market, and there's gonna be a chance for somebody to step in and try to buy that team, basically. Now, anything else before I just open up the show to the callers? Any of you guys or not?
Nah, I'm gonna go yell at Pest before I eat dinner. You know,
You gonna pop out right now? Then?
Have fun with that.
Yeah, just yell at him. He had
Get in
me
his ear
waiting
for
back
us.
there. You know what I'm saying? So I'm gonna go yell at Pest. But hey, good talking to you, Nate.
Always,
good talking
man.
to you, Hub. You know what I'm saying? But I'm gonna go yell at Pest so I can eat my dang on dinner.
Bet you already know. Go check out Fisk's channel. Follow him on Twitter as well. Have a good one, bro.
All right, man. Y'all be safe.
With that being said, let me put this link into the chat now. Oh wow, I spelled link wrong. I'm sure everybody's probably gonna want to talk about the main topic.
Most likely.
But there are other things as well. You know, Dorsey staying in Buffalo. We got our O-line coach. To be fair, just like you guys, I don't have too much of a deep opinion on either of those. Dorsey stays in Buffalo. Okay, we already knew we were interviewing other guys anyway from Brian Daboll's first press conference, where I believe he said they had like deep interviews with a couple of candidates, and now we know 2 of those candidates are 2 guys that we've been saying would be really good offensive coordinators, Mike Kafka and Pep Hamilton. Of course, y'all have heard Pep Hamilton's name from Nate for like a while now.
Why
is my updates going off right now? And I know that YouTube is gonna hear that. You're not gonna hear that, but they're gonna hear that. And then of course with the O-line coach, I've kind of seen a little bit of mixed reviews on that, man. Some Buffalo fans really want him gone, and some of them are kind of sad that he's gone. But yeah, what up, Adam? Like I said, the link is right there. Anybody could click that link and call in.
And
go ahead, Nate.
by the way, to the people in chat, I hope you know this is not a conversation that I am not completely open to having with you. If you have strong feelings on this, if you want to tell me I'm an idiot, sure, come on. Tell me what a moron I am, please. This is a conversation that we are only going to improve by having more. So if you want to come on, give your piece, absolutely. I'm willing to talk to you about it, sure.
Listen, it's an uncomfortable conversation, but neither of us are uncomfortable with having it.
Exactly. Well said. Very well said, Coach. And for me, just to reiterate, I think the entire idea here is it's the battle of the inborn bias and prejudice of these old white guy owners and the idea of how important winning is. And in my opinion, this is where me and Fisk disagreed. I think that the one strongest force, stronger than racism even, in the NFL is winning. That's what I think sells tickets, that gets asses in seats, that sells merchandise, that sells ratings. And that's what I think the deal is. So that's just my last thoughts on that. If someone wants to come on, have that conversation, I welcome it. The link is right there in chat. As Kush said, please, we can talk about it as much as you want. But until someone does, I guess, let's talk about these coaches.
So, I kind of gave my little fresh thoughts on it. Let me hear your fresh thoughts on Bobby Thompson first. That's his name, right? Bobby Thompson?
Bobby Johnson, I thought.
Johnson. Yeah, you're right, Johnson. The new O-line coach. What do you think? Have you even had a chance to take a look at him? Like I said, the first thing I do anytime we hire a new coach, especially if they come from an actual NFL team is instead of like a college team, is I go to that NFL team's Twitter and I see what their reaction was. It was very split from Bills fans.
Yeah. I think he's going to be another one of those offensive line coaches. We don't know what we're getting just yet. It could be good. It could be bad. We have no real idea. Excuse me. And I think in terms of our offensive line, we could use all the help we could get, obviously. But we also need to make sure that we're giving him a fair shake and getting him some talent to use during this offseason. Obviously, you got people like License Plate Guy campaigning for the linemen. A lot of us want... Excuse me, I don't know why I'm burping so much. A lot of us want linemen very badly in this draft. There could be a couple of decent guards that hit the market in the offseason, all things we should at least be in on. Obviously, building talent is the number one problem with our line, so we do need to get on that. I think with Bobby Johnson, he seemed to do a good job in the Bills organization. He seemed to be well-liked by the players. He's got that offensive lineman energy, which I am a big fan of. So I think it seems like a solid hire for now, continuing the continuity in the Bills hires, which I'm a fan of. You know I like continuity. And it just seems like one more guy that's going to be on the same page, and that's always good.
And then of course, Ken Dorsey. I don't think you're that sad at it at all because I'm gonna be honest. You are because I was a couple weeks ago. I really thought that Pep was gonna stay in Houston, and now apparently
so did I.
He's not because he has had 2 interviews with us.
Yeah, I mean, so my take on the two is kind of intertwined here. I think that Pep Hamilton is a better offensive coordinator candidate than Dorsey, but I wanted Dorsey over Hamilton just because of the connection to Daboll and how closely they work together. And I think considering we are going to use Daboll's offense, it's better to have him in there calling the plays because he already knows it like the back of his hand. So I thought that connection made him a better candidate for us specifically. But at the same time, now that the Bills got him back, curse you, Josh Allen. Now that the Bills got him back, we are looking at Pep Hamilton, who in my mind has always been the best offensive coordinator on the market. I think he's an excellent up-and-coming coach. He's had a hand in developing young quarterbacks, which is so massively important, especially for a team in our position.
If any of y'all saw my skit today, y'all know which 2 young quarterbacks.
Where we could be either looking to try and salvage Daniel Jones or going and get a young quarterback that odds are will need that help in developing. So I think that's a big, important thing for us, and Pep Hamilton is by far the number one candidate still remaining. Obviously, you and a lot of people like Kafka. He's another good candidate. He's sort of the consolation prize to me at this point. And O'Shea, please no.
Chad O'Shea is from where again?
The Browns.
What was he for the Browns?
I believe he was the wide receivers coach, if I'm not incorrect.
That kind of seems like, is there a connection between Chad O'Shea and Brian Daboll? I'm going to assume there is, and what is it? Yeah,
that's why. That's what it is.
Was it through New England or something? Or?
Through New England, yes.
Okay, then yeah, because I'm like, that's the one thing that's kind of a little bit of an outlier, because other than Chad O'Shea, these other 2 guys are almost, I don't know if high profile is the correct phrase to describe them. You got a guy in Pep Hamilton who worked with Andrew Luck basically his entire career from Stanford into the NFL, and then he worked with Justin Herbert in Herbert's rookie year. And I said it as a joke in my skit earlier today, which let me just post in the chat right now, because I'm sure you guys are gonna love that. But I said it as a joke.
Win.
I said it as a joke, but guess what? It's legit. There's guys who still, or and gals, there's NFL fans who still think that Justin Herbert is a way better QB, or not way better, just a better QB than Joe Burrow. Even though Joe Burrow is taking his team to the Super Bowl right now, I'm not saying it's a wrong opinion. I'm just saying that goes to show, well, the guy that helped him develop into that is Pep Hamilton, and he is a candidate to be our offensive coordinator right now. Now, one thing that's interesting about the coordinator spot, and this goes back to what Brian Daboll said in his introductory press conference, was that he's actually not sure if he's going to call plays yet or not. It's going to depend on who they hire, which I was a bit surprised by. If they hire Pep has experience as an offensive coordinator. He has experience calling plays and, drawing up plays and whatnot. I would think that if we hire a guy like him, he would be calling the plays just off of what Brian Daboll said, versus if we hire a guy like Kafka, Daboll would probably take the reins. Now, how do you feel in general about that? Because I was under the impression that Daboll was going to be calling plays no matter what. I guess, that was just my impression.
For me, I always tend to want a coordinator to call plays instead of the head coach. I think it's better to have one guy focusing on one thing and letting the head coach be sort of the captain of the ship. I think that's better. I think that gives him more attention to spend elsewhere, just on the moment-to-moment events on the sideline. For me, I think with Brian Daboll, he called plays from the booth, and that's a big switch to the sideline if he was a head coach, because you got to be on the sideline as a head coach. There's no such thing as a booth head coach. So I think it's certainly interesting. I would like to have the coordinator call plays, since he's going to be, for the first time, on the sideline calling plays, because it's a big switch. So I think it's better that way, but it's not bad necessarily to have it the other way around. For me, I look at these guys, and I see Pep Hamilton and Mike Kafka as exactly the perfect fit for where we could very well be come spring, which is, despite everything we've said and everything we've heard, we could very well be in the position of drafting a guy like Malik Willis. And Giants fans aren't going to want to hear it, and I understand why. It's understandable to feel that way, but at the same time, nothing that these guys say is concrete. Nothing is fact. Nothing is already done yet. Nothing is confirmed. So these guys, Joe Schoen and Brian Daboll, both scouted Malik Willis heavily and both really liked him as a prospect. So it is very, very, very possible that even though he's not in his second year, Daniel Jones could be the Josh Rosen of this situation. And granted, Malik Willis isn't the same prospect that Kyler Murray was, but if these guys really, really love him, he could end up being in Giants blue. So I think it's really important that in that situation, and even if we do stick with Daniel Jones as a guy that still needs to work out problems and become sort of that established NFL guy, those are perfect roles for Mike Kafka or Pep Hamilton. So I love those two guys as candidates.
I agree. And let me get a couple questions here from chat, because I know I've basically been ignoring y'all for 40 minutes. Once again, call link is pinned. One of them from Nikki. She says, if you had to cut Martinez or Bradbury, which would you cut? I would like to keep Martinez on a restructured contract. If I had to, generally I wouldn't want to cut any of them. But if I had to, that's a tough decision. Because Bradbury is making more than Martinez, right? But I feel like you'd cut Martinez because you could probably get a replacement like Nakobe Dean very easily. Versus if you cut Bradbury, even though he's making more money, which I guess means I'd have to check. But I'm going to make an inference and say that if you cut Bradbury, you save more money. I think it would be tough to replace somebody like him immediately. I know there's Derek Stingley in the draft, but I don't know how I'd feel about drafting a corner that high. I'd probably still take a tackle over a corner and maybe take a shot in like the second, third or something. But what about you to that question, Nate?
I think with these roster questions, it's going to be entirely about our coordinator situation and what's more important to him. But from in the vacuum right now, I've given my take on this. As the offseason's gone on, I've become more and more comfortable with the idea of losing Bradbury, just because we have a lot of young talent in this corner room, a lot of young talent. And Bradbury, even though I still see him as a guy that could play very, very good football in the league, he's getting older, he's getting paid a lot, and it's possible that he might have just stepped off a cliff. It's also very possible that was an off year, and he'll bounce back and play great ball in 2022. But we need to operate under the assumption going into this rebuild, going into a start-from-scratch mentality, which is how it was described by Brian Daboll. I think when you're looking at that, you need to assume the worst and hope for the best. So when I'm looking at James Bradbury, I see a classic cap casualty. And I think Blake Martinez could also be in that same bucket but at the same time, we're a lot thinner at middle linebacker than we are at corner. And Blake Martinez was our defensive signal caller until this year when he went down. So I think he's definitely very cuttable, but not quite to the same extent as Bradbury. And what you're saying with Nakobe Dean and the fact that you can get a linebacker as well, I don't necessarily agree with that. High-quality middle linebackers don't really grow on trees anymore. This is a league where if you're going to play Mike, you still have to be able to run sideline to sideline. Guys like Devin Lloyd, Nakobe Dean, they're not just walking around. Those guys are at latest going to be late first-rounders, in my opinion. So I think we are going to have to invest.
What I was implying was that you'd probably take them with the 7th pick. That was me speaking. That was me speaking from what I would do. That's why at the end I was like, I don't think I wouldn't take a corner with the 7th pick. That's just my personal philosophy, which if you think it's flawed, fine, because like I said, that's what I think. But I would take Nakobe Dean or Devin Floyd with the 7th pick.
See, I don't know that I would just because I don't know that I would just because I'm very confident I can get them later than that.
Mm-hmm. And then
I don't think that you need to pull that trigger top 10.
Real quick before I get to the next comment, and then let me pop Ash on right now. Actually, Ash is back here, and we got another caller back there as well, which I'll get on when Ash gives his take, and you'll just join the 3 of us. We got 84 people in here. Please, guys, like up the stream. Share it out.
29 likes, 84 people. Those numbers don't match.
It's not adding up. If you enjoy what you're seeing, hit the like button.
Good God.
Yeah, hit the like button, subscribe, and share. Let me get Marjorie's comment. She says 7 News Skytrack 7 spotted the Washington Commanders logo on a banner inside FedEx Field team store tonight. I'm gonna pause right there. I feel like we all knew it was the Commanders about like 2 to 3 weeks ago. And Ash, go ahead, man. Give your thoughts on whatever it is you want to give your thoughts on. Go ahead. We had Fisk in here earlier.
Ad autumn on
we had Fisk in here earlier. We were talking about the whole Brian Flores thing for about 40 minutes.
What are your thoughts on apples versus oranges?
The
big questions in life.
I gotta go team oranges on that one.
Hey, I love oranges, man.
That's an L from y'all.
What? Anyway, I really don't want to. Oh, go ahead. I was just saying I really don't want to talk about the Brian Flores or anything. I was on Pest Channel with Entertainer, talking about that, and I kind of gave my thoughts on that. My only thing about the Brian
I was about to say, I would ask you to restate it, even if it is just a summary, because the people over here definitely don't know what you were saying.
Yeah, basically about the Brian Flores thing. Like I said, I tweeted out earlier, I'm not going to really, quote unquote, choose a side or pick a stance on that, just because like there's some more information that has come out. I just learned like over Pet Stream, like the Denver Broncos thing that happened 3 years ago.
Yeah, that was in the last hiring cycle. Yeah,
I didn't know that. No, but that was when Brian Flores was getting interviewed for like when he got the Miami job.
Right, when he got the Miami job. Right.
Yeah.
And by the way, just before we keep going, absolutely loving the drip with the Monsters University cap. That is fire.
Straight from Disney World. Straight from the
10
marketplace
out of 10.
of Disney
10
World.
out of 10.
But yeah, so like some things, it makes me, question Brian Flores. I'm not going to say Brian Flores is necessarily wrong for that. And again, more information has to come out. But it's just the thing that a lot of people need to realize is that like people of my skin color, I'm not just saying like me, but like, you get the gist. Minorities, they don't get the same opportunities that other people do. White people do, if we're gonna be honest.
Yeah, we can call it.
Yeah, just use blunt terms. You're kind of softening the blow. You
no need to dance around it. We're all mature. We can talk about this like adults.
No, I'm just saying like so, and it's happened since we've been brought to this country. So race is, and especially for Black people, race issues is such it's a situation that is not dealt, like even just the thought about racism just gets people worked up because that's the world we live in. That's the result of all the things that's been going on.
It's an extremely politicized topic.
Yeah. So I would say this though, and this is something I brought up.
Mm-hmm.
We have players in this NFL, in the league, and all across sports.
Fisk back.
What's up, Fisk? We have players in the NFL, all across sports, that speak out about a various amount of hard-hitting topics,
We had Patrick Mahomes and the NFL players speak out, when this whole COVID thing came in and how it wasn't safe, forcing players to get vaccinated, all that. Chris Paul and everything, they talked about the vaccine and stuff over there and various amount of issues. Why is it that we don't see players, I'm not saying this isn't an issue, I'm not saying it is, I'm just saying, why don't we see players speak out about a lack of African American minority, whatever, coaches in the NFL? Can we say that they really think it's a problem? Can we say that, hey, they just don't want to, affect their money, they don't want to affect their, their stance, their image? We can say a lot of things about that. That's just something I want to bring up because we see, like I said, I'll say it again, we see a lot of players talk out about a various amount of hard-hitting subjects, but
Yeah.
and I try to look it up. I try to find what I said, and I don't really see that much about players speaking out about black coaching. If they do, they're retired players that on sports shows and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So that's just something I want a lot of people to think about this whole situation. In terms of the Rooney rule, the Rooney rule is just I just want to say this real quick. The Rooney rule, it's dumb, but I do want to say this though. We need to find a way, if we are going to get rid of the Rooney rule, we need to find a way that we can lessen the divide with black coaches, minority, people getting the opportunity.
So
that's all.
Hey,
I got a question for you real quick, Ash, just because me and Fisk were having a really good conversation about this before he hopped off to go yell at Pest. So my question to you is,
I didn't get to yell at him.
oh, come on, Pest.
He didn't see me backstage, man. It's a shame.
This man doesn't check his damn chat. Anyway, though, the conversation me and Fisk were having was essentially, to oversimplify things, the conversation was about whether or not two big forces in the NFL, the internal racism and the bias of the people in positions of power in the NFL, and winning, those are the two things that we're talking about. And my stance is that I think winning is the more powerful force. Fisk disagrees and thinks that racism is the stronger one of the two. What do you think of that?
Repeat that just one more time. I'm sorry. Question, just a question.
Between the racism and the winning, what do you think is going to be a stronger driving force of these owners?
Racism. If you had to think that hard, Ash, it's the race. Jerry Jones would ever lose with a white coach than win with a black.
Hold on, let's just hear what Ash thinks here.
Ash had to sit there and think so.
I just want to hear what Ash has to say about this. I want Ash to speak into the camera. I want him to look into our soul and give his take.
While Ash is thinking about that, I'll put this out there. For the owners that are like hardcore racist, they would definitely, if they could still make money, because that's the bottom line, if they could still make money while caring about their old ways, they will definitely do it.
And my thing is this: the two things that go hand in hand are winning and money. And there is a definitive drop-off in profit for these teams that suck so bad, and their fan bases get tired of it. I mean, look at the sales for tickets at Giants games. But the point here I'm trying to make is, to Ash, I want to hear his opinion on this. I want him to say it to us. Which of the two do you think is the stronger driving force? I want to have you
Ash,
look into our soul and
I want you to give the answer because I got like an actual call from chat that I want to pop in that I'm sure has questions for us.
Okay. So I'm gonna say this. I'm gonna say this real quick. I thought about it. I'm gonna say race. I'm just gonna say it like that because, and the thing I'll look at it. Owners, they care about their pockets more. I mean, we saw it with the Giants. John Mayer didn't give a damn however long we were losing. I'm not saying John Mayer's racist or anything like that. I'm just saying John Mayer didn't give a damn how many losing seasons we had. Odell made his pockets fulfilled.
Yeah.
Like Odell, he didn't give a damn about losing. He didn't give a damn about making the playoffs. He never saw the amount of money that Odell brought in. So with that, and the thing, the point about Jerry Jones, that is a good point. I'm not gonna lie. So, and that kind of really convinced me. I'm gonna have to go erase. I'm not gonna go into this huge explanation because as a caller, but I'm just gonna give that right now. But that's really a great question. It's a great question that needs to be revisited.
And yeah, like I said, I got a call from the chat, guys. Chat. I mean, we got like 90 people in here. Hit the like button. I still see it around 30 something. And like I said, any one of you guys could call in. Floyd, what's up, man? How you feeling? If you have something in the background, can you ease it down? Because I definitely hearing that coming through on your mic.
Oh, it's probably my heater.
No, I'm saying like there's a TV or something going on in the back.
Oh,
There we go.
Bet, thank you. Oh, you got a Roku, bro? I heard that Roku.
Yeah, and I have Apple TV, so
Bet, what's up, man? Thank you for calling it from the chat, bro. Go
Good to
ahead.
have you on.
no problem. How you doing?
Oh, we're doing all right. How about you?
Doing good. When I was watching the Joe Shane interview with after the Brian Daboll press conference, the first question he talked about was trying to clear $40 million, and that took me by surprise because I'm like, who is he gonna start cutting? What's your thoughts about that?
So I remember when what's his name? What's the name of Bill Brian Bean, right? No, Brandon Bean.
Bean.
I don't know why I had a brain fart. When he first got to Buffalo, he did something very similar. I think he cleared out somewhere between 30 and 40 million dollars. I'm assuming Shane is literally just following in his steps since he obviously learned under him. He's gonna clear that out. Maybe he's gonna follow a very similar path to the way the Bills rebuilded. I'm gonna have to go take a look at the Giants, just cap table and see salary table and see what it is. A viewer asked it earlier. I think it was Marjorie. I asked Nate about it as well. Blake Martinez and James Bradbury are definitely the first two guys that come to mind when you think about big contracts on the team. I think the biggest contract on the team might be Kenny Golladay or Leonard Williams, but I
think it's either it could be Williams. You're right.
I think
It
it's
could be.
Leonard.
Yeah,
But I don't
because
see either of them going. Kenny definitely needs a fair shot, just like Daniel does, with like an actual offensive coordinator with some healthy O-line. And Leonard Williams, no matter what you think, is one of our best defensive players. But yeah, and go ahead, anybody could take that from there.
I'm going to say one last thing, and then I'm going to hop out for the night. I think in terms of Joe Shane, like the idea so far has been to bring with him what they were doing in Buffalo, and I like that. I think it makes sense. I like the winning business model that we're trying to adopt here. And in terms of the cap, we know there are some salary cap wizards, and we can look at Spot Track and we can look at those websites. Over the Cap is another great one, and we can do a lot of thinking about it, and we can come up with some good points.
Oh,
and some good
Shepard,
takes.
Kyle Rudolph, the chat is giving me. Yeah, those are great guys right there. Yeah.
But nothing that we can find and talk about and come up with as solutions is going to be as good as what those guys that actually have the contracts in front of them with like legal degrees can do, because they know this stuff like the back of their hands inside out. I mean, you look at a team like the Saints, the salary cap can be whatever you want it to be. Let's be real. So I think if they think they can get $40 million off the books, I'm not going to say they can't. I'm not going to say I know how they're going to do it, but I'm not going to say they can't. So with that said, I'm going to head out. Thanks for having me on, Kush. Fisk, always great to talk to you, hear your opinion. Ash, same to you. Floyd, thank you for calling in. I'll get up with y'all later.
Yeah, have a good one, Nate. Before Ash or Fisk, whichever one of you guys want to go, I want to give a shout out to Engraven in the chat. For those of you that don't know Engraven, you need to check him out. Best Ravens content creator out there by far. It's not close. And also just a great general NFL content creator. Yo, Engraven, the link is pinned. So if you want to call in, give your thoughts on anything, go ahead, man. You're always welcome. But, Fisk, Ash, if any of y'all want to talk about the captain, go ahead, man.
Listen, I'm going to just I'm not a, wizard on the cap, so I'm not going to speak on something that I'm not informed of. But in terms of players that are leaving, I'll name them off the bat. Shepard, you need to take a pay cut or you going. Blake Martinez, the same thing.
I'm gonna stop you right there.
You going?
I'm gonna stop you right there. Cause Shepard, I love you, bro, but you should be gone. I'm not taking him back for a pay cut. He's gone, bro. He's cooked.
He's up for the season.
He's cooked.
I like Shepard. Like when we drafted him and they compared him to Victor Cruz, like he's been my favorite Giant since we drafted him. So it's kind of a, he has a special place in my heart. Pause on that, but. Blake Martinez, you either taking a restructure or you're going. Bradbury, I think you're taking a restructure or you're going. Rudolph is gone. Ingram is gone unless Brian Daboll feels like he's essential, to his offense. O'Shane Ximines is gone. Lorenzo Carter, if Patrick Graham wants to keep him. If we do keep Patrick Graham, he doesn't get the Minnesota job.
Which, by the way, Patrick Graham just finished a 9-hour interview with the Vikings. That's crazy. 9-hour interview.
He's getting the job.
I hope he does.
He's getting the job.
Jim Harbaugh,
yeah,
he's getting the job too.
Now our defense gonna be trash.
Nah, bro. If we hire Wink, we'll be fine. And that's another reason that's another reason I want Engraven to call in if he got time, because that's the Ravens guy right there.
Hire Wink Martin there. We don't know if we're gonna get that man.
What about Fangio?
We don't know if we're gonna get him either here.
It's a risk.
Jim
It's a risk.
Harbaugh, I heard Jim Harbaugh is planning to go. I don't know. I heard Jim Harbaugh is planning to go to Miami. That's what I heard. But we'll look that out. But where was I at? Like O'Shane's gone.
Soder.
I've cut Jabril gone. Soder gone.
Logan Ryan.
Hernandez gone.
Logan Ryan.
I might keep
Yeah,
him
the
around.
Whittier.
I might keep him around just to get just to have him as a veteran presence in our locker room. So I might do that. Ragland gone. I could go on and on. And there's a lot of people on the defense.
I'm gonna pass on this question because it's impossible to answer.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it really is. It's impossible to answer just off the simple fact that, you know, if you can't get rid. I put it to this way: if he actually does clear $40 million in salary cap, he's trying to rebuild. Period. If he clears $40 million in salary cap, he better be a damn good drafter. So I'm gonna say, because the Giants, all of our good players getting paid.
Yeah.
We got like 3 players. Let me see: Andrew Thomas, Xavier McKinney, and what? I guess Saquon or Daniel, who on rookie deals. But other than that, every relevant
Kadarius and Aziz.
Yeah, for the most part, all of our good players are getting paid. Bradbury, our best corner. You're gonna cut him. Now we can't stop shit. Leonard Williams, you're gonna get rid of him. We would never stop after that. Blake Martinez, you're just gonna let 150 tackles walk out the door. So I mean, look, he clears the cap, God bless. But for the most part, it'll tell me what kind of time he's on. If he clears $40 million in cap, he's Dave Gettleman. Dave Gettleman got rid of JPP, got rid of Odell, got rid of Landon Collins, got rid of Snacks, cut Jack Rabbit over a tweet. He got rid of all the good players because he didn't pick them.
The difference would be we got to see if Shane could build better than Gettleman.
And if he actually has a plan. I'll say that.
Yeah, so you know, this is just the drama that comes with a new regime. They're gonna tear it down to the bones and they're gonna rebuild it in their vision. So let's just hope he's actually good at his job.
Yeah. And I'll say this, in terms of actually, Floyd, if you did have another question, you can answer that because I was about to get into something totally.
Yeah, go ahead, Floyd. I know you probably got another question or something.
Oh yeah, not another question, just another comment. I follow Jim Nagy from he runs like the Senior Bowl, and he said the deepest position is tight end. So I think Evan Ingram is definitely out of here because I think we're gonna definitely find a tight end either in the second or third.
I mean, all the best tight ends in the league were like 3rd or 4th round picks. You know, you look at Kittle, Kelsey, and whatnot. I feel like Ingram. I mean, we've all wanted Ingram gone for the most part, right? For over the past 3 years. Am I wrong here? Has anybody on this panel right now wanted Ingram over the past 3 years, man? I don't think so. So even if we didn't find somebody in the draft, and you're saying, you know, the guy that runs the Senior Bowl saying it's going to be a great draft for him, you could always find a serviceable tight end in free agency, man. Even if it's just for a year.
Just like
I made white people
serviceable running back.
What'd you say, Fish?
So I made white people uncomfortable today.
Oh, word?
Yeah, I'm just looking through my comment section. Yeah, I made white folks uncomfortable today.
Oh, you already put up a video on the Flores thing?
Yeah, a couple hours ago, around like 5 o'clock.
Nah, I'm not gonna lie. That one thing, that of your latest video, that was hilarious. He was like, he said, I wanted Xbox and 2K for Christmas, but my daddy got me PlayStation and Madden. So what am I supposed to do? Not play my PlayStation and Madden because I want an Xbox and 2K? I should slap you if I was in front of you right now. Yo, that had me rolling, yo.
You know, man, when I start preaching, I get carried away every now and again.
Nah, shout out to this chat though. Like they've been pretty rolling with it. I'll say that. And then Marjorie says that Shane says, I keep saying Shane says you could clear about 25 mil just by restructuring all of Williams, Bradbury, and Galladay. I don't know if Galladay would do a restructure, but we'll see. That's Williams going back to the last question. Who you said?
Nah, they'll restructure because they don't lose money when they restructure. They just get it converted to sign-up bonuses. It's not like when you restructure, you lose money. Nah, what'll happen is we'll just give them a bigger sign-up bonus so they count less against the cap.
Mm-hmm.
They're not gonna lose money. It's like Tom Brady never took a discount. They just put it into a sign-up bonus. Drew Brees never took a discount for the Saints. They just put them in a sign-up bonus. So it's like they'll probably restructure.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And I don't know.
But it's about that.
Go ahead.
No, I was just saying it's about that time, coming up soon. I still don't know. Probably I want to do like a little stream or something for the Senior Bowl Saturday, but it's about that time of getting into them draft videos. Just draft content.
Almost, man. It's February 1st, man. It really is
The
about
best,
that, though.
one of the best times of the year.
Yeah, sadly, because we Giants fans.
Who you guys played or watching during the Super Bowl? During the Senior Bowl.
I don't know exactly yet. Yeah. But before we get to the Senior Bowl thing, because I know Ash, you had a question about something, and then Mike, we can't even cut players I think until the year begins, which is in March. The league year begins. But what was your question you wanted to ask, Ash?
No, I wasn't gonna ask a question. I was just transitioning into like drafting to replace certain players, and I was gonna bring up a scenario like this offense is missing scheme. I forgot who I heard say it, but somebody said it, and it was a really good like scenario. I'm not gonna lie, but what if these guys, and what if Brian Daboll, what if he's just this good mastermind? He brings a scheme to the Giants, and they feel like they could hold off this line for 2 years in free agency or something like that, or just a year in free agency, and then they want to go all defense with those 2 first-round picks. A lot of fans aren't going to like that, but it's just a scenario that I feel like could really possibly happen. I mean, what if, and that's something took from Patrick Graham, what he said he wanted to bring back Patrick Graham, and I feel like he sees that this defense is really good. And what if he feels like, hey, I can make this defense dominant, right? If I'm a good offensive play caller, yeah, I could go get. I mean, we talk about all the time how teams around the league, they supplement their offensive lines with late round, mid round picks. I think the Eagles, they only have 1 first rounder on the starting line, just to like a team. So do the Chargers. So what if they want to supplement their line through free agency? Or maybe spend like a mid pick on like an interior lineman or something like that. And, he talks to Graham, was like, what can I do to make your defense dominant? Maybe he takes, Karlaftis or whoever at 5 and then gets a linebacker like Devin Lloyd at 7. Again, a lot of people aren't going to be ready to, come to terms with that. If that does happen, because, this line has been horrible for years and we're just so hungry for linemen. But that's just something to look for. I think a lot of people need to understand that just because traditionally or just like these past couple of years we've been a shit show, it doesn't mean that it's going to stay that way just with a new regime. I mean, it's the top guy on the market in terms of head coaching, in terms of offensive mind that was on the market for coaches. So just a scheme, really, and just a really a good amount of evaluation could change this offense completely. So that's just something I wanted to bring up as a possible situation. I want to get guys' thoughts on that, and really if I would be angry if that really would have happened.
Can you restate? Go ahead, Fisk. Go ahead.
Because we need an offensive line, man. Like this, nah. Just take care of this. Just get this out the way.
And I want to point out something real quick. He did say that he wants to, bring in and develop his own players. He wants to build through the draft. So that's what it took me on is maybe
this your way, Ash, of trying to Jedi mind trick the Giants into taking one of them edge rushers at 5, bro?
Well, if one of them drops, Fisk, bro, we already had this conversation on your channel. If one of the 2, not one of those, listen, if Kayvon or Aiden Hutchinson drops, you take one of them at 5, and then at 7 you take Akeem, the tackle out of Carolina, and then in the second round you take a center because there's always good centers in the second round, and then you move it.
That's what I'm saying. We glorify Sean O'Hara. Dude wasn't a first round pick. You'd be damned.
Creed Humphrey was a second round pick, bro. He's like the best center in the league.
You'd be damned if Kayvon Thibodeau or Aiden Hutchinson are on that board. And I'm at 7, and I'm taking Linderbaum over a tackle. You'd be damned. I'll just say that right there.
Yeah, but if Linderbaum is Quentin Nelson, what we talking about?
Bro,
that's a big if.
Bro, I hate when people do that, bro. Because now, if we draft him and we put him in, and he's not dominating everybody year one, and he has a short frame and he's getting dominated, and he doesn't even have time to grow, people will be like, "Wow, we shouldn't take a center at a pick number 7." This is why you don't take a center at pick number 7. Same thing, people. Same. It's a different. It's the same thing people do with Daniel Jones. I'm not gonna lie. I'm not really one of as much as that's what the Hog Molly fans like. People they come at us saying we want sexy pick with a receiver or a linebacker. Y'all want the sexy pick with Linderbaum. Linderbaum is the sexy pick. Just like how you could get a receiver in picks in rounds 2 and 3, you could get a good center in rounds 2 and 3. Don't get greedy. Tackle, yeah. Center, no.
And listen,
Sorry.
this
No.
is in the situation that if one of those top 2 edges drop to us, if not, then yeah, I'm taking a tackle and then Linderbaum. But if somehow, some way, one of those guys is there, Linderbaum is taking the backseat for a really good center that's going to be there in the second round.
I'm not taking Linderbaum even if we took a tackle at 5.
Really? So what are you doing then? Let's hear what you're doing.
I'm taking an edge. If Karlaftis is there at 7, I'm taking Karlaftis. I'm taking Devin Lloyd. I'll trade back before I take Linderbaum at 7. I'm going to just keep it real. Listen, Linderbaum, I'm not coming at him as a player. I'm not calling him trash. I'm not calling him, crazy. I'm not calling him, it's just he's a center. He's a center. How many teams, except for the Steelers, what teams have a all-pro? You need to get him top 10 center. What teams? Hey, Daniel C said it again. Ojabo. I'll take Ojabo before Linderbaum. I'll take Devin Lloyd before Linderbaum. Trade back, take the Kobe Dean before Linderbaum. I'm not gonna go this far. I'll take a corner, but there's a lot of ways I'll go before taking.
I'll take a corner
at 7.
No, I'm not taking a corner at 7, like I was saying earlier. That's just not my philosophy.
If we cut Bradbury, I might take a corner at 7.
Now you're going too far. Now you're just saying things to say things.
Listen, if we cut Bradbury or if we trade him,
Fisk, you saw how this man rubbed his head because he knew what he was saying was cap when he said that. But go ahead.
I might take Sauce Gardner at 7. I don't know.
All I'm gonna say is this, because it's past my bedtime. All right. my odds is informing me that it's past my bedtime. All I'm gonna say is this: we better take a tackle. Go fuck who he is in 8-5, and we better take another lineman 8-7. I don't care who he is. Pick him. All these other players are inconsequential. We need to fix the offensive line so our number 2 overall pick of 4 years ago can flourish. So our 6th pick of 3 years ago can flourish. Fix the line. Okay? I don't want to hear Brian Daboll and his excuses or no. Don't get cute like Gettleman and Judge did with the Perts and the Lemieux. No. Fix the line. We got 2 first-round picks. Fix the line. Draft all these other players 2nd through 7, whatever. Fix the line. Okay? I don't want to hear no more excuses for Daniel Jones. I don't want to hear no more excuses for Daboll and Saquon. Fix the line so you can call whatever plays you want to call. It's as simple as that. That's it. I don't care if Thibodeau's there. I don't care about Hamilton. I don't care. Fix the line. Okay?
Now I'm probably crying if we draft Hamilton.
Yeah, I don't want to draft Hamilton. I know Ash wants to draft Hamilton so badly. You're not drafting a safety at 7, bro. What's wrong with you?
I don't want to. I never said I wanted to draft Hamilton. I said I could see it as an option. Hamilton's going top 5. So
to who?
Bro,
To who?
Bro, he's going to either Houston or he's going to either Houston or
Why
Jets.
in the world would Houston
would be fired?
Why would Houston, who has no type of offensive line and no type of edge rushing, gonna take a safety? And no quarterback.
Why would Atlanta take Kyle Pitts at 4?
Well, everybody agreed that was a super pick.
Why would the Cardinals take Isaiah? Stupid franchises make stupid picks.
That's your reasoning for Kyle Hamilton going 5th.
Though. Well, you need a quarterback. Those stupid franchises tend to take their quarterback.
Listen, man. I don't care what any of y'all are saying. Prospects like that who are what's the term I'm looking for?
I should make a bet with you, Ash.
It was Joe
Generational?
Judge's no, not generational. Joe Judge's best word. He said we want guys that are I forgot it. But
You
dudes
can't
like
even
that,
make your point properly.
Isaiah Simmons type guys, Kyle Pitts type guys that can play all over the field. Ooh.
Multi-positional guys.
They
who play
go
multiple
high.
positions and shit.
They go high. They get hyped.
Hybrids or whatever. I don't know.
Yes, hybrids. Tyrann Mathieu, Isaiah Simmons type guys. They go high. They're gonna be forced. They're gonna be bullied into taking this guy because he just can't miss.
Oh,
He's gonna do
word.
everything you
Yo,
want.
Ash, how many times have you used the words "can't miss" to describe a prospect in this year's draft, bro? How many can't miss prospects are there?
How many times have I personally?
And said whoever I say is can't miss. That's who can't miss.
Thank you. Aiden Hutchinson can't miss. Kayvon Thibodeau can't miss. Listen, y'all want to talk about don't trade back. Y'all want to talk about Devin Lloyd and Kobe Dean and how we need to trade back for them and da 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 da. Listen, they are linebackers.
I got a can't miss.
Them guys. Oh, go ahead.
My fucking bed. All right. I will see y'all on these Twitter streets or whatever. I'm going to bed.
Yo, have a good one,
here,
Fisk.
man.
Thank you for being here, man. Guys, if you're not already there, go over there, check him out, sub him up, man. Have a good one, bro.
Yeah, hit that like button for my man Hub. I'm gonna clap you in the comment section.
Facts. We got 105 people in here, but only 50 likes. Make it make sense, guys. Come on now. Supporting the Hub is supporting small businesses.
Oh, don't be using my slogan.
Supporting the Hub is supporting small businesses, bro. Come on now.
Slogans.
Yo, have a good one, bro. Love talking to you, man.
Y'all be safe, man.
Peace.
You too, bro.
And then we got, as soon as Fizz popped out, we got another caller from the chat. It's Rick. What's up, Rick? How you doing, man?
What up? How you guys doing?
We doing good, man.
Good to hear, man.
So you're not gonna say anything? Like I'm letting you have the floor.
Well, I hopped on right as Fist was hopping on, so I don't really know where you guys left off.
Oh, well, we were talking about how Ash wants to take Kyle Hamilton at 7 and talking about can't miss players.
Oh, Ash, come on, man.
What round is?
No, I heard Ash saying that Linderbaum would be a What was the phrase you used, Ash?
What do you mean?
Oh,
Like
when you said
he would be
Linderbaum is the sexy pick?
Yes,
He's a sexy pick for Hog Molly fans.
I kind of agree. I agree with Ash.
Thank you.
But I also wouldn't be mad if we took him at 7. Like if we took Garrett Wilson at 7, I'd be pissed. I'd be so mad.
That's the wide receiver, right? We don't know.
Would you?
Please don't. Please don't.
Would
To
you?
be fair,
Yo,
our receiving
alright.
core sucks.
All right. Is it time? I think it's time that Ash and
Would
Floyd say
you?
goodnight, bro.
I'm just saying, would you? What if
Ash. No. Everybody pause. Ash, look in the camera so it looks like you're looking in my eyes, bro, right now. Look me in my eyes, bro.
Whoa, pause.
No. Stop trying to avoid the situation and tell me that you will be fine with us taking a wide receiver at 7 in this draft, knowing what we need to draft.
I'm not saying I'll be fine with it.
Oh,
I could see it as a situation with Brian Daboll's offense.
Let me get this
That's
super chat, yo.
ridiculous.
Ash,
That's
it's been good having you on, bro. Shout out to Tudo for the $5 super chat. He says, "Saluti Kush, drop by the office to pay the proper respects and slap all the Eagles fans around the world. Giants fans united." Yo, have you thought about what you done?
Can you listen to my scenario? This is why I can't stand you people. I can't stand you.
you people.
What do you
I
mean
can't
by
stand-
you people?
You people.
Listen. I never said that I wanted Garrett Wilson.
Okay.
It's a scenario though.
Hmm.
What if Brian Daboll looks at Kenny Golladay and is like, I need a number 1 receiver for my offense, my spread offense that I run, and you're not quick enough to be used in my offense. The only person that's
Why
quick
wouldn't
enough
he do that
to use
next
your
year,
offense
bro?
is
If he really wants to do that.
Bro, he really was able to feed Gabriel
just
Davis
like why
4
wouldn't he
TDs.
build the defense next year?
No,
Why
no.
wouldn't he, build the offensive line next year?
Whoa.
There's
Stop.
scenarios. There are scenarios.
Stop right now. The defense is already built. It just needs an edge rusher. All right. We all know this. It just needs
We
an edge
said
rusher.
that
Facts.
We said that last year
when
and we
we
didn't get an
just-
edge rusher. We got one
we
half.
said that
of an
we
edge
needed
rusher.
a secondary. We were like, oh, this defense just needs a secondary.
And it has a
Nah,
secondary. And guess what? We're missing edge. You're telling me if we're not one edge rusher away from being a defense that with all the injuries was still top 15 last year to being like
And the coverage
consistently
linebacker.
top
Hold
10.
up, hold up. Ash, I got a question for you. What
Yeah, what's
round was Gabriel Davis drafted in?
4th round.
Dude, Brian Daboll is not taking Garrett Wilson with the 7th pick, bro. It's not a scenario. He's gonna find
Listen,
a way.
bro.
He's gonna find a way.
Listen, I would be hot if we took Garrett Wilson with the 7th pick. I never said I'll be in favor for it. I'm just saying I see it as a scenario. That's all. That's all.
A word?
I'm Doctor Strange. I got the time stone.
They're
I
gonna
look into the future. I see scenarios.
They're gonna have to be smoking
Did
that
I
Ohio
say-
State pack.
Did I say it would work? Did I say it would work? No. Did Doctor Strange say, when he looked into the future, did he see Thor snapping his fingers, taking the stones for Thanos, and did it work? No. It's just a scenario. It's just a scenario in the
What?
future.
I actually agree with Ash though, because like as long as we get our right tackle, we can go many different directions, and I really wouldn't be upset.
Oh,
People
nah.
are acting.
Because-
People are acting like there isn't free agency. People are acting like this interior
Listen,
offensive line class
I'm
of free agency is
listen.
absolutely trash.
In the words of Stephen A. Smith,
Mhm.
stay off the weed.
Bro,
All right?
people are acting like y'all remember Jeff Saturday?
Yeah.
What round was Jeff Saturday drafted? My memory's kind of faint.
Are you
Please
trying
tell
to
me.
wait?
You can't even think about it.
compare. You can't even. You're trying to compare if we drafted Linderbaum versus Garrett Wilson. At
No,
least,
I'm saying taking a set. People act like it's Linderbaum and bust at 7. That's all
but-
I'm trying to prove. It's not Linderbaum or I'm bust. I'm
I agree
saying
with
like
that, but you're not drafting Garrett Wilson. I'd be mad as
no,
hell.
no. We're off the Garrett Wilson.
If he
thing.
looks
We're
like
off
Jamar
the
Chase
Garrett
next year,
Wilson.
nobody cares.
Hey, don't start making no Jamar Chase comparisons now. That's something
Like
else.
they grow
Listen.
on trees, bro. Like Jamar Chase is growing trees now.
Listen, man.
I mean, first
I'm
round wide
just saying.
receivers always show up, for the most part.
People saying that
Not ours.
people are saying that it's Linderbaum or bust. I call you crazy. We have a whole bunch of centers that have taken in mid rounds that perform good. So I'm not going to say it's Linderbaum or bust.
Okay.
There's a lot of different ways. That's all I'm saying. There's a lot of different scenarios to go at pick number 7.
But
Sound
all
like a
right, this
bomb.
is Ash. This is one thing to keep in mind because if you want to think about scenarios, let's keep it realistic, right? You mentioned the free agency and the draft. The reason we're not even we're not talking about that much. One is the free agent class, and we already mentioned already where the cap say the New York Giants are. But two, of what both Brian Daboll and Joe Schoen expressed in both their introductory press conferences, and that's that they want to draft their core players. You know what I'm saying? And we saw Buffalo did that. Just like we saw Buffalo, their main position in need over the past couple of years was edge rusher, and that's what they took. They took 3 edge rushers in the past 2 years. All 3 of them were within the top 2 rounds. In addition to that, one thing the Giants didn't have with Dave Gettleman here was the analytics, and with analytics comes positional value, and we know that Joe Schoen has analytics, and he's definitely a believer in positional value, and wide receiver at 7 doesn't exactly line up with that. So I'm just saying it's a scenario, but it's not a realistic scenario.
Why are we still talking about the wide receiver? But I'm off the wide receiver. I'm just talking about like Linderbaum right now.
It applies for the safety as well and whatnot. I mean, at 7, I think it's Linderbaum or edge or maybe linebacker. That's about it. No other positions.
Ojabo.
I think linebacker needs to have a little bit more emphasis on that. The thing with 7 is just that, I mean, even look at the Bills. I mean, who's the Bills center? When did he get drafted? You know? I'm not saying that a center is not a key part in your offense. Center is like one of the most important roles in your offense, being that, they have to have communication with your, the quarterback and with the whole offense, But he did say he want to develop his players. That's what I'm saying. Like, what if he views that he has kind of a blue chip type of player at 7 and he feels like he could develop a center while getting a guard in free agency like Brandon Scherf, like Ryan Jensen. I'm looking at it right now. Connor Williams, Laken Thompson. These guys are all damn good. James Daniels, Ben Jones. that's just the top 6 right there in terms of like interior offensive lineman free agency. What if he wants to hold off on that,
So what do
just
you?
for like a year?
But what's your point? If he drafts Linderbaum, I don't understand. Like, what's the point you're trying to make?
The point is, I'm not taking Linderbaum at 7. That's the point. That's the point. I'm not taking Linderbaum at 7. I'm not taking Linderbaum at 7. That's the point. That's the point.
Oh, all right, Ash.
Joe Shane,
All right, bro.
Joe Shane was a big emphasis on his introductory press conference was we want to develop players and we want to keep our within house. We would like to extend people. So
you know who else kept the promise he didn't keep in his introductory press conference?
Oh,
about his team fighting for 60 minutes.
Here this guy goes.
And we're gonna represent the city of New York, and we're gonna be a product of the field of the city of New York.
Hold up.
Just because he said an introductory press conference doesn't really mean I'm not gonna call him a liar. I'm just saying.
I'm just gonna go back to the proven point then, which is they aggressively attack positions in need.
I got a question for Hub about how you would feel about trading down from 7.
Oh, I'm fine with it. I'm fine with trading down from 7, whether it's for draft capital this year or draft capital next year. A trade down scenario I'll always welcome because, in my opinion, just like Ash has said, and I've been saying it before. Ash has been saying it. I'm just not on the thing of completely don't take Linderbaum, but I've been saying for a while now, get a center in the second or third round. It makes more sense to me. Less of a contract for them. There's always centers in the third and second round, like every single year. But with trading down, like even if you trade down to the teens, you could still get a linebacker potentially. You could still get an edge rusher potentially. I'd be way more comfortable taking, any other position there. I'm all for trading down if it's there.
Now, I wouldn't be bad if we took Linderbaum at 7. Don't. I'm just messing around. I wouldn't be livid. I'm just saying it wouldn't at 7 if you have Karlaftis, Linderbaum, Gardner, Ajabo, Devin Lloyd. Linderbaum's at my 4th pick right there. That's all I'm saying.
I would love Karlaftis, man. That guy, people don't talk about him enough. He was a starter for like 2 years.
Karlaftis is a goon.
I'm not a big fan. I like Thibodeau and Hutchinson way more.
Yeah, he's not flashy. He doesn't jump off the screen, but he's pretty damn good.
You know what he's like? He's like the Andrew Thomas of this edge rusher class because I think you know exactly what you're going to get out.
You know who the Andrew Thomas of this edge rusher class is? It's Aiden Hutchinson. Stop it. Stop this disrespect.
No. Listen. I'm saying that because Andrew Thomas, he was consistent. He didn't just have one amazing year.
Aiden Hutchinson was pretty consistent over his career.
He did not have the season he just had.
But before that, he was consistently consistent.
He was consistently consistent.
Yeah.
I never heard of him.
Well, by definition,
I never heard of Aiden Hutchinson.
Hold up. By definition, he wasn't consistent. He wasn't consistent last year.
Up until this year, where he had that incredible year, just like Andrew Thomas, up until his last year in college, didn't let up a single sack.
I knew about Andrew Thomas though.
What's up?
But I knew about Andrew Thomas. I didn't know about Aiden Hutchinson.
Yeah, true.
Hub is stuck on this Andrew Thomas thing, like since pre-draft process, and he's been right about it ever since. So he gets like full defensive when somebody downgrades Andrew Thomas
because he's the best tackle in the league.
Until this year,
he's the best tackle in the league.
That thing that Ash put on Instagram about the 90+ receiving grade with Devontae Adams, Justin Jefferson, and Andrew Thomas. Andrew
Thomas is a wide receiver 1, bro, because he had that one touchdown pass.
He's our one, bro, and he had a 2-point conversion last year.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Oh no, nobody really talks about this much, but what if Linderbaum or the tackle we draft have an Andrew Thomas type rookie year where they're not really playing up to standard?
Okay, so I'm glad you asked that question because that goes back to when me and Nate briefly, and it was the only time during the stream we actually talked about the new Giants offensive line coach, Bobby Johnson. We haven't talked about it since. It goes to that because we know now, in addition to the ankle injury, it was just bad offensive line coaching that was the result of Andrew Thomas's first year. So if that happens, I'm immediately looking to that O-line coach that I'm not sure about right now, and I'm saying you're doing something wrong. So that's just me.
And on top of that, I think that's not likely because also Andrew Thomas was starting off like when COVID was first starting off, and that whole offseason was like really jacked up. So I think there'd be pretty improbable for a rookie to
If we
have.
take Linderbaum at 7,
He said tackle, bro.
Yeah, tackle
well,
and
he's
Linderbaum.
tackle and Linderbaum.
Okay.
Yeah, he said
If
tackle.
we take Linderbaum at 7, he needs to be Quentin Nelson. I don't give a damn. He needs to be Quentin Nelson. He needs to be generational. He needs to be that guy. I don't need him. I don't need him to be slow.
Ash,
Because without
who do you want at 7? Like, name one player. Name the one player you want.
okay, so this is a spoiler alert for my mock draft that I'm gonna record and I'm doing. I have the Giants right now taking Karlaftis at 7,
Yes.
but Devin Lloyd is kind of growing on me. The more I watch him, I mean, this dude is amazing. Like, he has extreme talent. This dude is such a playmaker at the linebacker position. I mean, if you go back and watch that Oregon Utah State championship game, that dude took over that game. So I think soon I'll be growing on Lloyd because I feel like a linebacker, just in terms of, like, the Giants don't have a horrible pass rush, but they have pass rush that need some help. I feel like if you get that blue chip linebacker, it'll really help out your pass rush. And that's not just for the Giants. That's just in terms of just NFL defense. Look at the Seahawks with Bobby Wagner. Look at the Carolina Panthers when they had Luke Kuechly. If you take away those linebackers, their defense isn't really that good. So that's just something that I've always, even back when Isaiah Simmons, I brought that up as like a kind of a reason to take Isaiah Simmons, even though I did want to tackle. Just getting that linebacker can really fix a lot of problems on your defense. But right now, I want us to take Karlaftis right then and there, and then Devin Lloyd is going to be my second.
The Bills took they took Tremaine Edmonds the year they took Josh Allen. I think we'd all like Tremaine Edmonds on our team. So I'm looking at the Bills draft history the past 4 years. They had some pretty good picks, man. Right?
Yeah, they did.
They had a really good strategy. Like, you definitely see
Uh,
what Hub was saying about, like, they weigh positions. Like, they really place emphasis on the really important positions early on. So I'm excited.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what I'm saying. Look, they
well.
built that defense. Like, they built that defense.
Yeah.
Like, first. That's what I'm saying. Like, what if they take their ways from Buffalo? What if they decide to just put off this offensive line and just fix it to the point where it could be sustainable? And then able to put a scheme with this offense and make it better and build this defense and make it dominant with Patrick Graham.
I could see where you're coming from with that. But I interpreted it differently. Like I was saying, I didn't see them as saying it, oh, let's build the defense first. I saw it as them saying, let's build what is actually the crutch, like the thing that's failing this team the most, because they've always had an average offensive line, but up until 2019, their defense was atrocious, and that's when it became one of the best in the league. But either way, we got about 2 minutes left. I want to thank you guys for coming on. Floyd and Rick, any last thoughts before I pop y'all out? I really appreciate you guys calling in, man.
Nah, thank you.
Have a good one, bro. Rick?
Yeah, thanks, man.
Hey, man,
Peace.
always nice talking to you, bro, on Instagram as well. Peace. I'm very much pushing P. Check my Instagram story. And to everybody in here, this was probably like my most successful stream ever. We had 100 people consistently for most of the night. Thank you all for being here. Hit the like button on the way out if you have not. If you're new to the channel, sub me up, like it, share out the stream. Check out Ash's channel as well. It's called the Get Back with Ashen. He's very recently restarted his podcast. We go over there. I think it's going to be on episode 3 or 4 coming up. And that's basically it. I know I saw a lot of new people here. Check out my channel. Of course, I cover Giants. I talk about the Giants in these podcasts. I also have a Young Guns podcast that takes place tomorrow. And then on my channel, takes, news, and like you saw today, occasionally I'll put out a skit or two when that creative idea pops into my mind. But I want to thank you all for tuning in. It's been great. And we gonna be out. Ash, any last thoughts?
Yeah, man. Thank you for having me on. I know I came over late, but I appreciate always the good talks. If y'all want to check me out, go check me out. Like Hub said, it's called the Get Back. My mock draft will be dropping. My new mock draft will be dropping this week. That's going to be for all 32 teams or all 32 picks. During some teams have 2 first-round picks and such. But yeah, go check me out. I'm growing with it. I just started it over, and we're going to be coming up on episode 5. when I do live streaming stuff. Also be doing this week as well. Might call the Senior Bowl this Saturday. I'm not sure, but you know, if you're interested in that, go check out the Get Back with Ashton Griffith. And yeah, that's all.
All right, guys. Thank you for tuning in, and we're out. Peace.